Hey everyone, how's it going? Welcome back. So I wanted to talk about episode 9's ending and sort of, I guess, the shocker that it was, because honestly, I wasn't expecting the episode to end that way. I mean, I'm sure some of you guys who watch the channel remember, right? Like I've been saying for the last week or two, or longer than that, month or two, like I thought the Commonwealth would show up, they would do whatever, and then that would basically be it. But what we got was actually, it was way more than that. But before I go any further, I do have to warn you that this will contain spoilers for episode 9. So if you haven't watched it yet, then definitely I recommend not watching any further. Also, make sure to be a subscriber if you want more Walking Dead content like this. I will be doing videos every single day. My reviews will be every Sunday. I will also be doing live streams on Twitch. I've been doing them every day so far. I don't know if I'll do one today. Actually, I probably will do one today. It's a lot of fun. Honestly, I'm having so much fun doing it. It's just it's a whole new world, and yeah, I'm having a lot of fun Twitch streaming. And last Sunday during our whole watch party thing, we actually had, I think, like 60 to 70 people in there, which was kind of cool. Still not an all-time high. I think the all-time high in terms of people, joining was when we were waiting for the Madison reveal. Like, we had no idea it was going to be the Madison reveal, but I think then we had like 200 to 300 people. But yeah, I mean, we'll be doing it again this Sunday or this Saturday night to Sunday morning. So I hope to see you guys there. The link for it should be down below. But let's jump into this. So the ending scene for episode 9 came, as I said, as a shocker, right? Like it just sort of came out of nowhere. We weren't expecting that. We see Daryl as fully really a Commonwealth soldier. It seems like he's just being obedient now. He's just sort of following their ways. And it looks like Maggie is sort of rebelling against them and not accepting whatever they're willing to offer, right? And Daryl seems to have an issue with it. It seems so intense. It looks like Daryl and Maggie sort of hate each other, or Daryl's sort of pissed off at Maggie because Maggie's not listening. She can just accept their ways and everything will be fine, but she's not. So Daryl's there because he's a part of the military now. He's like a general. Well, not really a general, but you can tell the fact that he was the one that went up to the gates shows that he is he's a little bit higher in ranking. I feel like if you get higher in ranking, you get a different color suit. Like I wouldn't be surprised if we see more people in other different colored suits, right? Like we have Mercer in an orange suit. I think we could see other people in different colors. Maybe there's a yellow one, right? Because it would just be weird if Mercer was the only one with an orange suit. Like what? But as I said in my review, I do believe this is fake. It just kind of seems fake. The way, Chelsea actually just watched it this morning, and her impression of that scene was like, yeah, but it doesn't seem like they really hate each other. It seems like they sort of planned something beforehand. And yeah, I totally agree. I think Maggie is, I think she is trying to rebuild the Hilltop. That seems to be her main thing. And I don't think she wants to be associated with them. And obviously Daryl 100% supports that. Daryl, I don't even think wants to be a part of the Commonwealth, but is only doing it for Judith, for RJ. And, he has other reasons as to why he has to do that, right? He's the one taking care of them. Like, I think if Michonne was still here, Michonne would have went, and Daryl probably wouldn't have. He probably would have went to the Hilltop with Maggie. So I still think they're both, Maggie and Daryl, ever since ever since Glenn's death, I think they both just have a very strong connection, a very strong relationship that I just, Daryl is never, ever going to not side with her. Like he's following her to the end, right? And so this is really interesting though. This does show us which people decided to join the Commonwealth and not, right? And it seems like everyone basically has for the most part, but there are people who were like, no, we're not going to. And it seems like the people who decided not to joined the Hilltop. I think the leaders of Alexandria were like, yeah, you know what? We need a lot of help. And so they actually accepted help from the Commonwealth. And so I guess they're sort of forced to integrate the Alexandria within the Commonwealth, which means you got to follow all their rules. They kind of lose a lot of freedom doing that. I think Maggie's like, you know what? I don't want that happening to the Hilltop. So I'm going to stay away from that. We can rebuild on our own. We don't need your help. And so I really admire her for doing that. Like, that is very strong. That's probably honestly what I would do. But then again, that's what I would do if I didn't have kids. Like I have kids. And so I would probably be doing what Daryl was doing. I'd sort of be forced to, because it's not really on me anymore. It's not my choice. I'm responsible for my kids, right? And I want them to be safe. So I'm just like, yeah, I guess I got to suffer to keep them safe. And yeah, raising them at the Hilltop and trying to, like instill those values that Maggie is. That's probably smarter in the long run, but it's just not as safe. And I just feel like could be irresponsible. I don't know. I mean, I'm not here to criticize her parenting or anything like that. I'm just kind of saying from my point of view, that's sort of Like that's what's kind of tricky about all of that, right? Like you have Daryl, who like Daryl's obviously just going to do that. Maggie just believes otherwise. I actually really like that idea. You know, the Commonwealth are trying to force themselves on the Hilltop, right? They're trying to force their ways into that community. I really do think Pamela Milton is going to visit that community. You know, I think she could visit Alexandria at one point. Maybe she just sort of goes through to check out the community. But I do think she's probably like, you know what? Like Lance Hornsby can't get to her. Like the military went there. No one's like Maggie's not budging. I'm going to go and try to speak with her. And so I do see that scene happening in part 2 where Pamela Milton will go to the Hilltop to speak with Maggie and try to persuade her. I don't see it happening. I see there being more tensions rising there. And yeah, some crazy stuff could happen. I could totally see the Commonwealth just being like, you know what? Then I guess we probably have to kill Maggie, right? She's kind of the only person here that is holding this back. And I think if we get rid of her, put someone else in charge who can actually run this place, then it'll be easy to get in, right? Like it's going to be some weird, crazy political thing. Like it's, you know what I mean? This scene in general was just very shocking because first of all, they jump forward 6 months later, right? Like that's something that like they don't do that often within an episode. Like they'll usually do it between an episode or like after a season sometimes, but like not at the end of an episode out of nowhere. It was pretty shocking. Like I wasn't expecting that. And I do think this is probably from episode 12 or 13. And if anything, probably like 11, 12, like probably 12. And the reason why I say that is because we got the trailer where we see shots of like, we see Daryl and he's not in his Commonwealth gear and he's at the Hilltop. So I'm looking at that like, it almost looks like he's against the Commonwealth in this scene. And we know at some point he does kill a Commonwealth soldier. And that isn't happening at the end of part 2. Like they would never show us footage from later on in the season, right? Like the footage we saw in the trailer was likely from episodes 9 to like what 13, 14, somewhere around there. So I think this happens in episode 12. I think whatever's going to happen here is sort of going to be connected in some way to why Daryl ends up killing the Commonwealth soldier. And then I think in 13 is where there's more of a rebellion there. And yeah, I think they're going to be getting into this really quick. I think in episode 10, we're going to sort of fill in the gaps a little bit of that 6-month time jump, just seeing how they sort of get used to being there. And I mean, if you think about it, like it's Halloween in episode 10, right? It's been several weeks later. Then they jump forward 6 months or whatever the hell it is. So it's going to be spring of the next year, which means they skip the winter months. I really think that probably did contribute to why Angela Kang wanted to do that, right? Like, she probably wanted to do a time jump in some way, but she was like, shit, we're coming across winter again. And so as for how this is going to end, I think what's going to happen here is I really do think the Commonwealth are forcing themselves onto the Hilltop. They want to take over this community because they really just want to expand their numbers, right? And this is where we're going to start to get into some really interesting things in terms of the CRM, the Commonwealth and all of that, and just what these people do, right? Because the Commonwealth, I really do believe, are operating under the CRM. They have their resources and their power because of them. Like, I'm so convinced of that. That's how everything is connected here. There's no way they don't know of each other. There's no way they haven't struck a deal or anything like that. It's just too crazy. They obviously did. It makes the most sense. And I think a lot of those running zombies that we saw at the end of World Beyond, you know, there's a lot of like connections there that I think we're slowly going to get to. I don't think we're going to see a running zombie in the final season here, but we could learn of some information regarding it potentially. We'll have to wait and see, but that'll probably come in part 3. And so, yeah, I do think in the end, I think the Commonwealth are going to win, sadly. I think Maggie's going to lose the Hilltop. I think they're going to try to fight as much as they can, but I do think they're probably going to lose this community and they'll be forced to go back to the Hilltop or back to the Commonwealth, where I think they're just going to have to join the riots. And I think it's just going to get really, really intense because the riots for a while there, like they're very destructive. There's a lot of death there, like, a lot of background characters though, but some really messed up things happen, you know, like some really crazy things happen in terms of Pamela Milton just decides to kill her own people because she wants to maintain her power. Like she basically did what the governor did in season 3, I think it was in season 3. Yeah, the season 3 finale, where he was just like, screw this shit and killed all his... I mean, he kind of did it because he was just pissed off. They disagreed with him or whatever, and he was just like, screw you guys, right? So it was a little bit different, I guess. Pamela Milton's a little different here. You know, these people were trying to fight back and are literally trying to take over this place, and she's going to lose her power, so she's just like, screw this shit, right? And so yeah, definitely I'll leave it here. So definitely post your thoughts down below. Post your reactions to the ending scene. You guys already know mine, at least if you were there during the Twitch stream, you guys already heard mine. But yeah, really crazy ending. It completely refreshed everything. So I'm hyped for episode 10. Hope you guys all enjoyed the video, and I'll see you guys in the next one.